Mahalo everyone for coming. My name is Miho Barinoe. I am the program director here. And it looks this is a really special evening, so it looks like all the most important people are here tonight. And so we can begin. Anita's here, so we can definitely. And she's fearless.
Some insecurities.
Yes. I didn't prepare a speech, but Gerald, I am so honored to be able to introduce Gerald because he is my mentor. He is my friend, best friend. He is my colleague. And yeah, I have had the pleasure to work with him for over 20 years. And so, yeah. And I don't want to make it about myself. And so what I wanted to focus on is what a beautiful relationship it has been for myself as a professional to be able to grow with somebody like Gerald, who is immensely creative. I don't think that the youth program would be what it is today without Gerald. He has really deeply taken in the philosophy that my mom and my dad has really laid for us as an organization. And of course, we are very lucky to have that kind of foundation. But a foundation is not anything unless we have the right people to carry it forward. And I really believe that this group, this team that I get to work with, Mina, Ashley, who else is here tonight? Oh, and we have a little over teaching artists. It does take a team of really caring people to carry on the legacy. That's so beautiful. It has really created and strong community developments. So why has it taken Gerald over 20 years to have an artist talk?
I talk all the time. About art.
I can tell you, I'm going to just say briefly my side of the story and a little bit about how we came to this point. And then Gerald will have his own story. But it takes, it looks a little bit, and we're still very rustic, but it's a lot more glamorous now. We used to be a very, very grassroots, very, very volunteer-based, and it took a lot of energy and time and passion and care, to keep these doors open. And I think in that time, it's easy to get lost in the kuleana. And perhaps in that process, you get lost that you're maybe not an artist, that you're a teacher, or you're a coordinator or you're a mentor, and that those are things that are separate from being an artist. And what's so unique about tonight is that I think that we can see or envision those things woven together as one, and that you are an artist in all of those different dimensions. And so I believe that's a story that Gerald's going to talk about tonight too. This past year, it's a celebration of our 30th anniversary, and it's coming to an end. And it's a great way to really be talking about some of these things. And I guess I feel confident, to talk about stuff like this because we've been talking about it for years. And it's not something new. It's something that has been growing within ourselves, amongst each other as conversations, and then practiced within our community. And so it's not new to us. It's hopefully becoming a culture. And part of the culture in question was, we bent over backwards, especially during COVID, throughout the years, obviously, to create a space for people to come and to be creative, to learn the arts. And it takes a lot of energy to host that space. We have amazing teachers, we have amazing administrators, we have a fundraising team, just so that we can open the doors for this community. But at the same time, Gerald, is changing and becoming a mentor to other teachers, right? And we had to ask ourselves a question. which was, is it important for teachers to have a studio practice? Is that different from somebody who just comes in and walks in the door and teaches? What's the value of somebody who has a studio practice and then comes into a room and shares that philosophy with the community versus somebody who does it for a job? I think there's a big difference. And when we decided clearly that was a value, and we were in that mentorship role, we're like, we can't be hypocrites about it. We do all this work and then we're going to be hypocrites about making space. We're not making space for our own creativity. And so then we had to figure out, well, how do we make space? It's challenging. We work 40 hours for a nonprofit organization. How does that work? And so Gerald was just like, we have this thing that we have for the staff where we can have professional development and we get this stipend every year. He hasn't used it for 3 years. And because he's just like, I don't know, we learn so much by doing. We don't necessarily need to go out to get more education from outside. What is it that one truly needs? And it's beautiful because we allow our team to be able to decide that for themselves. That's something you know. And Gerald was like, I really want to make space to go. Can I use that time and funds, very minimal funds, not a lot, but we are creative, we're imaginative, so we're like, let's create a sabbatical. Let's formulate something that you can fit in a rhythm of creativity alongside the responsibility of being a youth education coordinator at the Okinawa Center. This has been a really wonderful pilot program. It's going to look really different for others if we invite this kind of culture into our organization, but it's a wonderful, wonderful foundation for a start for a conversation. So for 9 months, Gerald has made space to make his art, to reconnect to a rhythm of his own creative self. He chose a mentor or a accountability partner, which was my father, Hiroko. And I think he'll talk a little bit about why he chose my father. And then maybe afterwards, I'm just going with the flow here. If Dad, you want to, in response, talk a little bit about what it was like to be that accountability partner for Gerald, maybe at the end. Yeah, sure. That would be really lovely. We'll just go with the quote. If you feel it, then come up. But I have been amazed to see what he has done with that time. I don't think I could do it. But the amount of creativity, but also just that time where he can be able to have a show at Studio 7 Fine Arts Gallery. Thank you, Don, Monty, for hosting this space outside of the Donkey now to create that energy that the mill is not the only place to do this work. I think it's important for our staff to do that, right? Like, we're so engaged with this space. So I think it was really a beautiful way to celebrate Gerald's sabbatical at Studio 7. And then there was some interaction with the community, about 3 or 4 of them. And I think just being able to talk about your work consistently, shared experience of what the sabbatical is, becomes your own story, becomes your own evolution. And so I've been able to see that, and it's just been so beautiful. So thank you so much, Gerald, for committing to the sabbatical and for honoring us with your story tonight. So Gerald, thank you.
So mahalo everyone for coming out Friday night to hear some parties. Yay! I actually wanted to start here with this quote by Ocean Vial. To be clear is to fail into your pleasure. this would make sense, I think, as the narrative was my life and my work. This idea that embracing detours, vulnerability, and pleasure as valid forms of existence, and stepping outside of imposed standards can open space for joy, intimacy, and creativity. For a long time, saying the word artist as an identity felt not genuine, because a lot of my creativity was outward, poured into others. So as hopefully the narrative goes on and makes sense. In my head it does, but
Keep on going.
so we're gonna start from little Gerald. So I grew up in Kona. My parents were coffee farmers. So I grew up on this 5-acre coffee farm. This is our house, this coffee shack. No running water, we got catchment tank. I look at this, it seems like many, many years ago, but it still captures this childhood that was beginning to have an effect on me. I think I knew from 6 years old that I wanted to become an artist. So I'm showing you this picture. It'll make sense. I was an altar boy for 6 years. That guilt, Catholic guilt. This was actually my graduation, and from high school. And they were like, okay, you guys, you go do your thing in the world. A lot of those experiences with the church somehow enters into my work. Not that I'm religious, but those were the stories that I heard growing up. So in my senior year in high school, I didn't take art in high school. Kona ʻāina didn't have an art program. Kari notes. So I went to this place, which was in Hōlualoa. It's now a parking lot. It's the old Kona Art Center, run by Bob and Carol Rogers. So my little curious self went inside. I had a little packet of drawings to show Bob and Carol. So the first thing Bob says to me, you need the foundations of drawing. So he took me under his wing. I didn't have to pay anything. He said, come every Wednesday, every Saturday, come sit, set you up with some paper and charcoal, and that was my beginning of kind of like art lessons, which really started that journey. Also important to note, Bob and Carol were retired art professors. So looking back, back then I didn't know what my journey would be, and kind of ending up having a show at Studio 7 just down the street or up the street from Kona Art Center held a lot of meaning for me. So similar, I remember it was a small group of adults. I was the only kind of teenager there. They celebrated lunchtime together with food. That is also something that we do here at the Don Kino Art Center. I remember that building, you actually have to watch your step going into the bathroom. You might just fall through. But it was built on this idea of community. There was a need. So this was where my first show was. It's the old church. Huh?
Is your pictures?
No. This is, I couldn't find like actual documentation of these buildings. So all that I could find are these kind of postcard images. So I didn't draw that. But this building, which is the church, so that's where I had my first show. Not a solo show, but it was a group show. And I had my funky watercolors. Okay, let's see. What's next? So this is my college years. This was kind of later undergrad work. I was really into geometric abstraction. And this will make sense when you see my work today. So basically, there's sort of a minimalist idea here. It's this here, it's a bad image. It's a story of two squares. So there's actually two squares on canvas, and the rest is actually painted directly on the wall. So one of my influences in college was Hōlualoa, where he wrote extensive notes of how to actually do something like this. So the idea for me was, well, if I can explain to someone how to recreate this in my notes, then this can travel to other places without actually having the work. That never happened. And then I got more into this sort of constructivist ideas. And this was late 80s, probably 89. So from here, I got a scholarship to go on residency to Skowhegan, Maine, through the advertiser, the Twig Smith, offered a scholarship. So I got to go. And so during that time, there was a lot of questioning, like, why am I from Hawaii doing stuff like this? And I was the only one questioning. The visiting artists that were there were also questioning me. Why are you doing work like this that said nothing about their place? So I went there, did a full turnaround, and started creating stuff like this. Here I was exploring material. I was exploring textiles, weaving. And if you know me today, there's a lot of that that still comes up in my work. Oops. Here, this was actually work from Skowhegan. So I'm using tar paper. It's a really cheap material. I cut it into strips. I started weaving them into found objects. This is when I returned from Skowhegan, and this was my back at school. So my professors, who were used to seeing the geometric work, was now seeing stuff like this. And they questioned me. Why that turnaround? So I was questioned a lot. And going back to that queer identity, I think that's what we go through as gay, queer people. we're constantly questioning. Others questioning us, we question ourselves. Are we allowed to just be? Are we allowed to explore freely? So yeah.
How long were you there?
Scouting? Scouting was a summer residence in 9 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. Funny thing, Jane Hammond was one of our visiting artists. And then somehow she ended up here while I was working, like maybe 10 years later.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. So in 1994, I moved back to Kona to help on the coffee farm. I was kind of over college. I was in Honolulu. And so I moved back to work on the coffee farm. Actually didn't do art for maybe 4 or 5 years.
No.
My father died in 98. And that kind of lit a fire under me. Like, why aren't you doing the thing that you love? And so there was an opportunity to actually have a studio downtown. It was a small space. I turned it into a gallery, called it Art and Soul. And this is the kind of stuff I was doing. Not so experimental. I just kind of leaned into my painting knowledge.
Yeah.
And your love for plants.
Love for plants, but then, I was kind of doing it for the tourist.
Yeah. But
At that time. So there's a little overlap. Friend Lynn Capel walked into the gallery. This was the first time meeting her. And she talked about, there's this life drawing class happening in Hōlualoa. And it was in John Buck's garage. And so, I haven't done life drawing in such a long time. It was a great way. That's where I met Hiroki and Setsuko. Well, I didn't meet Setsuko yet. Hiroki, I think you were in that class. You and Sean were in that class. So meeting the Morinois. So at this time, I gave up the gallery.
I was imagining.
So I was in another transition, figuring things out. And Setsuko invited me to be part of Project Art, which is a community event where artists volunteer their time to share their skills with families. So Setsuko said, come on. Here, I'm working with Keiko Bonk. We were tracing kids on large butcher paper. Here I am just messing around, having fun. And then, I don't know if this was 2002. You guys used to do 2 project parts a year.
Yes.
So I'm not sure, but I'm calling it not 2022. It's like 2002. Sorry. So this project art happened just down the street where the old bonsai place. It's now the Humane Society. And here I was helping in the drawing section of the event. So this is sort of building this relationship with the Morinois, which ended up my first year of teaching. for the Hōlualoa Foundation for Arts and Culture. My first summer art experience in 2003. Here, my first time teaching. So taking, actually I had no skills teaching. I didn't want but I was among a great team. Setsuko was there as well. So it was a fun experience. We only had 25 kids, and this is at the Hōlualoa cafeteria. This place was still getting ready to open. There's me giving sagely advice to these young children. It's amazing. These kids are probably now full-fledged adults. Yeah, with kids of their own. So this is Emmy.
Oh, Emmy. I'll pick that.
So she's pounding Valke. On sort of these like these parking lot like barriers. I would never do that. Maybe paper. But it was my introduction to Valke as well. So if you know some of my work, I actually make handmade paper. And so this was my introduction. So a lot of times, and I'll speak of this over and over again, where the teacher becomes the student. So within all of this, I was learning a lot. So this toolkit of amazing artists that came through built confidence. It may be a better teacher. Here, this is actually on our lawn. Setsuko has some young Valke plants. Here we're planting it's like ʻōlena pia. I think that. And then this was our first show, summer art experience on this side. So this was 2003. This whole place was just filled with kids' art. From the ceilings, like every square inch of every wall we had was celebrated with kids' art. Okay. So now I'm actually, this is kind of a cool image, shows like maybe my entry into being a teacher artist. I worked with amazing people. I have images that I'll share later. But this is just maybe symbolic of things to come. The blank walls, the clean sushi. So the next few slides, just student works that I got the opportunity to work with these amazing kids. I should share you one story. I did teach an adult class here. It was my first class. There were only 2 students teaching a drawing class. So one of the projects was a blind contour jacket, where you just look at an object, and look at your paper, and you slowly draw. So there were two women in this class, and I was persistent and like, no, don't look at your picture. To one of these ladies. And then all of a sudden she gets up and runs to the bathroom. And then the other student, she came up to me and said, she's in the bathroom crying. So you notice with only two students there, yes. I actually didn't do anything. I think I just my bedside manner was not as it is right now. But I can tell you this, being a teaching artist is not easy work. I love working with kids because they're just bundles of curiosity, and they'll try something and not be overly stressed out. So now coming to working with Keiki. I pull influences from everywhere. It's like Nam Gabo, they can learn about it. And then working with cardboard to make 3D forms. All the painting is just, hey, paint the cardboard. I think they do amazing work. I tell Miho this all the time. I love kids' work for the energy. I don't know. Here's one of our fall break programs. So again, making paper with our natural fibers. This is working with Valke. That's Stella and Emily. Emma. And this is
Yeah, that's Koto.
yes. Thanks. I'm jumping around, so there's no order to what I'm showing you. So this is our collaborative mural for the Humane Society. They asked us, this was during COVID, like, we have some funds, but can you guys do something? So we planned this together with all of the animals. The title of this mural is called Creature Conflicts.
Yeah.
So this is Tahakai School with third graders. So we're working on creating poems along with self-portraits. It's too bad I can't blow some of these up. But part of it is they're actually observing their features. The other side is all of the things that bring them joy. And then they have to write a poem about it. So we covered the entire entryway to their library. These are a little more recent. Here we see Asher doing his thing. His little Jackson Pollock moment. And here we were doing phases of the moon. So long ways from my first teaching experience with an adult. Here you actually see smiling faces behind the mask. No tears. And here, this was a summer, 2015. And again, just using their silhouettes. Remember like those project art. So I had Keiki just put themselves against the wall, traced them out, painted their silhouettes, and that's what they came up with. You know, the images speak for themselves, really. Here, we incorporate movement along with some of our playgrounds. So here, Miss Deborah. So I had kids paint on these umbrellas, and then Miss Deborah created some movement to go along with the pieces. Here, this is a second grader retelling a story. Don't laugh. The story is called Top and Bottoms. It's about a bear. Not, yeah, it's about not being lazy. I think the moral of the story. I forget the details. I'm showing you this because you're going to see my most recent work. Already, having kids think outside of the box. A portrait doesn't have to be just a static thing, or we can have fun. I actually had them plaster masking tape over their faces to create another layer of design. I like that everyone is different. A little cone of coffee mural that one of my after school groups made. But I did tell them the story of growing up in my coffee shop with water tanks. And a lot of these kids leave the place. They've seen images like this.
It's a great thing.
So, how do you make kids excited about moon phases? You tell them we're going to use glow-in-the-dark paint and have a photo shoot, and voila. This was part of another summer program. And just me kind of giving a reflection of one of the second grade classes at Hōlualoa. Here's some kids painting a mural. These are recent programs. This is the Hawaii Open Arts, the HOA program, which brings together classroom teachers, teaching artists, and Malama ʻāina educators. So here students are at Hōlualoa, which is just up the street, sharing their drawings of ko, the sugarcane. Sorry. I worked with, this is years ago, I worked with some kids interested in spending the fall break with me, prepping Valke factory. The thing they were most interested about this process was making fires. Because we had to like steam them, cook them, all in an open fire. I don't know. There's something about this level of thinking through drawing, through form. Again, when you see my work, which will come up, So, color is joy.
Tuna.
Color is life. And I think Keiki responds to that, to color in that way. So this was another fall break program. So the kids actually got into the native, what's that?
Hawaii.
Hōʻaina in Wailoa, in Hilo. And they all made that paper. Some of them are just finished a residency. We try partnership with Hōlualoa School. So it's Hōlualoa, Don Camille, and their PTO share the funding to create these programs. I got an opportunity to work with Full Life. These are volcanoes made with basically found objects and paint. So let's celebrate our teaching artists. Over the years, we've had so many teaching artists. So we have Miss Akiko. She's back there. These are a couple summers ago. This was a program called the Participatory Design Program. Fancy. Bringing educators together and a bit of response to so we've gone through the pandemic, kind of bringing creativity back to its fundamental place in the now. So our fearless leaders, Meliana Myers and Solomon Enos, guided us through a week of programming. I might add that we are incorporating, so the HOA program that I mentioned to you earlier, the Ka'alu is directly because of this program. Laurel here is the program director of that HOA program. More teachers, these are our classroom teachers. So we write grants to go into the schools. Part of that grant is to offer professional development for classroom teachers. So we're not only teaching the kids. I did a professional development with, again, classroom teachers. Here, it's a credited course for classroom teachers. These are some of our more recent additions. Sarah and Claire. Here are some of our cohorts. We have Tomo, who's back there. Okay. So, just another small section before I actually get into my work. This is the document considered a place of convergence. So, this community is amazing. It attracts people from all over. So one of our guests that came, John Kwan, who's Buddhist chef. You watch what's the show?
Chef
Table. Right.
Third season, first episode.
Oh, we don't know. So
It's the only night.
I made. She's eating my ʻōlualoa that I made. Again, here's another example of a teacher becoming a student again. I'm learning a lot from these. I only could show a little, or else it will be all night. Here's Melanie Yahtzee. Again, a very generous artist from Colorado. Here we went to visit Rowan in Waimea. She's a pop-up artist. Her mom, Marie McDonald, really lay maker. These amazing books that she wrote on lay making. I get to collaborate with other artists. So here, it's like Kristen, we worked on this piece together. So I created the braiding of, it's actually paper, while she worked on the pendant components. I get to work with, again, fabulous artists. This is Hōlualoa. She's our natural guide.
Yeah.
Kristen. Oh. We get to work. This was a mural on Palani Road. It got painted over. So every few years, new people go.
For quicker sometimes.
Yeah. So honoring Eugene as well. He's no longer with us, but in spirit. So I brought this image up. We have another teaching artist who's no longer with us, Jeremiah. Bang. So really taking this idea, again, this was the sketch for a mural on that same site. This was the mural before that. So here's my sister, Yarrow. We spent many summers together. So I just texted her today and just really noting that what we worked on all those years ago is still a part of us now. Of course, her partner Ken taught us, not me personally, but hip-hop workshops. We're there.
Thank you.
To be queer is to fall into your pleasure. Here's me at 58, me at 18, and all of the in between. So I'm going to start entering into the artwork. I know, it's a long, drawn
Take
out
your
process.
time. Yeah. We're enjoying it now. Just took
So here are some of my early influences. Garcia Rockborn, shifting shapes, shaped canvases a lot of times. I like, a lot of kind of these hard edge paintings could be very flat, but her work I don't know, because maybe of the brushiness, the texture that she leaves. So, and of course the color that she uses. That's Rockborn and the just roughed. So you can, yeah, it's kind of easy to see why I'm attracted to lines, angles, these triangles, shifting facets. Some other influences. Peter Paul Rubens, Fall of the Damned. Again, this the Catholic thing. I don't know, there's like something about visions of hell. And Bosch, another influence of mine. Luis Caballero. So being part of the Duncan Art Center, I get to take amazing classes. Again, here's George Woolard. He did a mono print class. I think I did it with Shez. Another, oh, thank you. We did a pit fire with David Kuroka. So these are my drawings. Again, you can see this sensibility of some of my influences. So one year I got to spend at Anderson Ranch in Snowmass, Colorado, where I worked on these large-scale drawings. I think this was like about 6 feet by 3 feet. So you can see I taped paper together to create that large drawing. This was actually a study from the martyrdom of Saint Erasmus by Nicolas Poussin. And this was just like a figure in a still life. Again, about 6 feet.
It's the size of the art.
Yeah, but maybe not as high as this one.
Those are both yours.
Yeah.
No. Keep that.
Some drawings that I do in preparation for paintings, I don't always draw. But when I do, it's usually so this was maybe around 2016. You can already kind of get a sense of that geometric play with the figures. Again, just some of the early works, experimenting with stitching. This is a early bushwhacker piece.
Is that a rope? You get a rope?
I rarely work with, like, unless if it's a live drawing class, they'll have models. Sometimes I'll ask friends to model, but a lot of times it's just out of my imagination. You can tell if I'm observing something, there's a lot more that I can capture. A lot of times if it's out of my imagination, it's very simplified. You have the owner of this piece in the house. This is a mixed media embroidery with drawings that I've done in the past, prints, So really,
Or crates.
so prints meaning I cut up old prints, not prints like. Yeah, so you can see I'm stitching rather than using glue in a collage. I'm really playing, and this isn't very big, maybe about this big.
This white.
I think you have this one too.
Let's do that. We want to big.
So, yes, embroidery, fabric, beads, wash, then recycle woodblock prints, not prints.
That's good.
He's not gay at all.
This is one piece?
This is like silver blocks that are stitched together as a piece, almost like a quilt. So actually, this is crayon with tempera paint.
On fabric.
On yes.
No, on paper, it's strip fabric.
So the drawing, this part is on paper, and then stitch onto fabric. Again, each square is about 6 by 6. Yes.
So where's this piece? That happened.
I probably have it somewhere. It's been maybe 2016, 17. Again, here's other examples of that mixed media using embroidery. These are some of my encaustic works, working with wax. So, moving into probably what sort of continuation of so the work I did during this creative sabbatical was really an extension of these works. So not necessarily like religious, but using Greek mythology, the river Styx, as sort of the departure point for some of these works. This is actually a friend. He had shorts on, but I was house sitting overlooking Kelikakua Bay. And sort of this idea of the Flying Dutchman came up. So the title of this piece is "The Devils Are All Here."
They are. Is that a work on paper or canvas? Or?
So this is work on black tar paper.
This one. And it's what did you?
So this is oil and spray paint. And this is like 3. Each panel is 3 by 3, almost 8 feet. So it's 6 by 8. This is a she-wolf.
With the
Oh, the cat.
My cat just died, so I put the cat in there. Again, you'll see how this is a continuation, how the recent work is a continuation of this series. And this was done in 2016. You'll note the fracturing in this piece.
Is that somebody in the middle with a shirt on? I'm just like,
Is this some?
What's it?
It's nobody in particular.
I didn't see it at first. Wow.
I have a love-hate thing with him. And these were works in response to some of what our curator, Nina. One was Mala. So again, looking back at some of those early fiber works, using branches and, of course, the embroideries in this. Again, here using coffee because of its sculptural quality. And that's an actual plaster mass on my face.
Did you put water in those bases and then with the water went up the string on the left?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't do it here. I did it at home where the ink was way close to the edge of the drawing. Here it wouldn't do it with this distance. But at home I had the container of ink like right below it, so it actually drew it up. Yeah.
The ink was the string. Yeah.
See, it only went up like a little bit. It didn't.
Yeah. That's cool.
Some of my dry point prints. This is actually my first woodcut.
Woodcut.
So I did a black and white version and then a colored version. I didn't like either, so I cut it into strips. And
Physically in fact.
yes,
Facts. Oh, I see. I'm good with match to that. That's cool. I like that. It's a good piece.
and then kind of going with sort of that religious, this idea of Adam.
Sure.
Phew. So onto this creative sabbatical. A woman, so I did a few demos at Studio 7. So a woman came up to me and said, "You know what a sabbatical is? The sabbath." Oh. It wasn't a time of rest. But for me, it wasn't actually rest. I wouldn't say rest, because it was work. So I use the word renewal to reconnect to my practice. So I see this series of new works as weaving together all of that, what I learned from my mentors, the land, the different materials, really honoring those places where I felt like I wasn't an artist. And of course, the teaching. So here's a moment of Elizabeth Farrell, who came to teach a post art class here at the Donkey Mill Art Center.
Yeah.
Here's like cutting of the stencils, mixing of the gouache. Here's an earlier piece. This is a piece I did like 2 years ago.
Good.
So the idea is cutting stencils with this material called dualar, which is like a heavy vellum film. So each shape you see is actually a cut shape. So the rope, even the shape of that shadow is a stencil. And these are the new push-art pieces. So the body of work is called Fractured Eden. Another religious reference. But playing with this idea of the fracture, you see it in the figures, you see it in the lines. The hard edge of the process of the push-art also creates sort of this fragmentation. As I cut stencils, I reuse them. Not all of them, but you can reuse the stencils. So you'll see like the blue jade pops up in a lot of the pieces, the butterflies, and these are about such a balance, like that. Good. Again, you'll see the figures pop up. I really have fun playing with color. These are soft portraits.
Your stuff is so all the
So these are photographs of how I start painting. Again, as I reflect on my early influences, they still come back. This idea of these sweeping lines that cut through, to follow the dam, the figures. Right now, they're very testing the waters as far as the color. Again, here are some earlier. I don't know if you can see the red lines starting to slice into the drawing. Here is showing some of the layers. So my studio is in my garage. Right outside is nature, the garden. So I use those fine material and use it for with spray paint. So these paintings originally, so my friend Andrea and I were putting together a proposal to have a show at the Kahilu Theater Gallery. The show is going to be about our relationship to our fathers. So we wrote this whole thing, submitted it, waited a few months, and came back saying, "You're rejected, basically, from this." So what ended up happening was I presented the case of this sabbatical idea. Although the works aren't necessarily about my father anymore, they do speak about the fractured narratives that exist, because I really don't know who my father was. Outside of just, the father role, I didn't know his hometown. He came from the Philippines. So this idea of like the fractured recombining to create something whole again. So you can see the early cuts are apparent in the composition.
Is this lowercase string of 7?
Yes. So this is part of that. Factor in. Oh. So yeah, so
How long is the show at the Donkey
at the dot Studio 7, I think mid-December.
Yeah.
Oh,
50. Yeah.
yeah. So yes, Mononoe, Maki, Miho, Hiroki Satsuko, or of course the Donkey Art Center for this opportunity. And Jay Akuna, who was one of our teaching artists, she really helped with the media stuff. Yeah. Quite.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, my role in this whole sabbatical, 9 months, is to be invisible. That's how I saw myself. So it was a good time to know Gerald in a different way, other than teaching at the Donkey Mill. I enjoyed all our visits. I did little comments. That's all I did. As soon as I saw this beginning of these large oil and enamel, spray enamel paint, I said, I'll leave him alone. I think it's a great series, so I stood back and just watched the whole process. And I must say, this pochoir is quite remarkable from there. As far as I know, there's only 5 artists that does pochoir. Gerald, myself, this girl who we both learned from, and a woman in Hōlualoa, and one of my students, Dorothy Remington. I mean, pochoir has been used in printmaking for 100 years. Started in France. Pochoir means stencil, but it was used as a very small part of the printmaking process. If you want a red, maybe pattern on your print, instead of making a whole cover in a block, you just cut a stencil out and hand print it. So it's always been a very small part of printmaking. Helen Frankenthaler has used in her printmaking perhaps the most, doing her big woodblock prints, and then instead of cutting new blocks, she just cut a stencil out and added a few more colors. Anyway, thank you, Gerald, for all the good work you've done for the Donkey Mill, sharing all your experience of teaching, being a mentor. I'm thinking, when I went to art school, I think teachers there thought only 2 or 3 days. So they had 4 days for themselves. That was the recipe way back in 1967. All my professors thought only 2 or 3 days a week, and then they had personal time But that doesn't count all the meetings they had at school too. But, you know, at least they had 4 days of working and perhaps 5 days. So I think the sabbatical is a good program for the Donkey Mill to continue with the other staffs and members. Gerald, you're the first one. Well, I'm retired now. There's a problem. Being a full-time artist is very intense. So I'm looking, so I work in my farm, I clean the yard. I asked Mark if I could take my grandson to school. I'll take him to Taiko. You know, I need some release. It works the opposite way. Being a full-time artist is very, very intense. So you have to balance your time. And can we go to the Donkey Mill, that first painting?
The Donkey Mill?
I mean, no, the Kono Art Center. I saw these old pictures. We have similar footprints. There we are. It's who's the primitive painter that did little landscapes? Grandma Moses, right? Remember Grandma Moses, most famous? This is done by Nanny Rogers. She did all these kind of primitive, childlike paintings, but look at all the details in there. And this doesn't exist anymore. I mean, the proportion to building is not right. But it gives you a sense of the place there. The big pink doors there, slightly open. That's how I walked through. That's where I got my start. I was like Gerald, I had some curiosity. I walked in there, and the next minute I was there painting. And I worked with Bob and Kara Rogers for 3 years. And so when I went to art school, I had a full vocabulary on visual arts. So I could keep up with the rest of the students. I had a good background for the 3 years I worked with Bob and Kara Rogers. Do you have another one?
Yeah, it's the church.
Yeah, the church. That was a gallery. Gerald had a show there. I had my first show there. When I returned from Japan, I had a show there. What was it called? The little church gallery?
That's cool.
A little church gallery or something.
Or church galleries.
Anyway, it's a great program. I hope the Donkey Mill will continue that. So my question, Daryl, are you still continuing? Has it created some momentum?
Yes.
That's all we need to know.
In our Hiroki style, I bought 80 canvases. Look at it, 8 by 10.
80?
80.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's all they had. I would have gotten the...
You're like, not 365.
Well, there now. It is good. Well, that's how I get myself going. I play by numbers. 365 paintings, 100 prints. That's how I have my discipline, and I try to narrow down my focus on those things. It's a self-disciplined way of working. Okay. Gerald, congratulations.